In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, I wish to state that on September the 7th, 2018, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV, Channel 97, and on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement made a part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Barr?
Here.
Goggins?
Here.
Mr. Woodson?
Present.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mr. Longo?
Here.
Mr. President?
All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from August the 27th, both the regular minutes and the closed session A and B minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Is there any corrections, deletions, omissions that anyone's aware of? Hearing none. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Cobb?
Yes.
Mr. Woodson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Longo?
Yes.
Motion's carried, all in favor?
Okay, so we have a couple presentations this evening, so before we go through the reports of the governing body, we'll do the presentations, and then we'll go back. We do know we have some students here. I'm sure they want to go home and do their homework. So, anyway, the first group we're going to recognize is congratulating Alexa Johnson, Allie Martin, Jacob Schneider, and Zach Card for winning a bicycle safety contest. So we'll ask you to come up and I'll read the resolution. Yeah, that's fine. So the resolution reads, whereas it is vital for the public to be aware of bicycle safety, especially during the summer season. And the Ocean City Police Department, PBA Local 61, and the Ocean City Bike Advocacy Group, Bike OCNJ, sponsored a bicycle safety contest to promote public awareness of bicycle safety by providing scholarships to winning entries of public service announcements. Whereas Alexa Johnson, Allie Martin, Jacob Schneider, and Zach Card, Ocean City High School students that reside in Upper Township, were winners of the bicycle safety contest for public service announcements. And the public service announcements were created through the Ocean City High School's TV media production program with the expert guidance of teacher Greg Wielden and engineer Steve Trotter. Zach and Jacob chose obeying traffic safety signs as their topic, while Alexa and Allie chose why you shouldn't ride on the sidewalk. Whereas these students' dedicated efforts to production of their short commercials provide strong messages conveying increased awareness of bike safety to the public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee to honor Alexa Johnson, Allie, Jacob, and Zach on winning the bicycle safety contest sponsored by the Ocean City Police Department, PBA Local 61, and Bike OCNJ to promote bicycle safety awareness. Congratulations. Congratulations. I think somebody's in college or something. We'll figure out somebody to make sure. Congratulations. You got all your pictures. Yeah, they're still taking a picture of that. There we go. Good job, great job, folks. Thank you. Congratulations. Now you are welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go and do that important homework that needs to be done, or wash the dishes from dinner.
Mayor, if I could add one thing, if anybody is interested in the actual video is up on our website, there's a link to it, so if anybody's
great.
seeing that there, it's up on our township website.
Yes, sir.
I just mention one thing. I'm co-chair.
All right, Tom, do me a favor. We know who you are.
Yes.
Okay. Just
Do I have to say who I am?
Thomas Heights Insurance Agency. I'm co-chair of WICO CNJ, and we've been running this organization for about 15 years, promoting safe bicycling in town. And the number one thing that our public wants is just more education. So we went to the high school and they put this program together, and these students put together a fantastic product. We're so proud of them. It really hits home to promote bicycling, and really it comes down to reducing injury and even death. So even though it seems like a video, they could be really saving lives. And we're just so proud of them and thank them for taking the initiative to put together a great product. So thank you.
Great.
Thank you. We also have another presentation this evening, and it's something that you know, I think that we should all be very proud of. Bruckner Chase and his wife Michelle and Rebecca McGill have worked in partnership to try and help folks that have spinal cord injuries, and they have started a program that's been going on for several years now at Obesis Point Beach. And it really is important that we recognize the great work that they're doing to try and help those people that have succumbed to very serious injuries. Having gone through an injury with my wife recently, not a spinal cord injury, but broken legs, I realize and know how much and how difficult it is, both for the individual that has had the injury, but also family members and those that are involved in trying to give support to those with the injuries. So the service that these folks have given to these spinal cord injury individuals really is great to be able to recognize them. So Bruckner, would you, Michelle, and Rebecca come up, and I'll read the resolution. So whereas Bruckner Chase and Michelle Evans Chase formed the Ocean City Swim Club in order to connect people to the water with a positive experience, through a partnership with Rebecca Gill, a physical therapist and coordinator of spinal cord injury program at the Bacharach Institute for Rehabilitation, the Ocean City Swim Team formed the Blue Journey Uniform Team Paddle Program to enable people with spinal cord injuries to participate in prone paddleboarding and open water swimming in an equal capacity with others and without the need for special equipment or accommodations. Those with these injuries force them to spend so much time either lying on their back or sitting upright. The prone paddleboarding activity increases flexibility, strength, and endurance, as well as enhancing their overall physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Bruckner, Michelle, and Rebecca, along with their volunteers, including members of the Upper Township Rescue Squad and physical therapy professionals and students, provide an invaluable service to those with spinal cord injuries as well as to our community as a whole. And whereas it is just and appropriate that we honor Bruckner, Michelle, and Rebecca and the many volunteers and participants of the Ocean City Swim Club for their service, sacrifice, and dedication to enhancing the health and well-being for those with spinal cord injuries. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of Upper Township that we hereby honor Bruckner, Michelle, and Rebecca and extend to them our heartfelt gratitude for the generous donation of their time and service to our community. So.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
Can I share one thing real
Absolutely.
quickly? So 10 minutes before coming to this meeting, we were finishing up a conference call with honor students at the University of Sunshine Coast, Queensland. In November, we'll be launching 2 ongoing programs, Blue Journey Unified Paddling programs in Queensland on the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast. 2 weeks ago, I also met with the president of Surf Lifesaving Canada about launching programs up there to help develop another way for their lifeguard agencies to contribute back to the community. And this all started because of the support we've gotten from Upper Township, Captain Hanley, and the entire community here, that it really has been a 360-degree impact. And it is very much a global initiative now, so it's pretty exciting. But thank you for giving me a platform to start. Yeah.
Congratulations. so much. So now we'll go back to the reports. Scott, do you have something for us this evening?
Yes, good evening, Mayor. Just a public safety announcement. I think all eyes are turned to the Carolina coast with respect to peak of the hurricane season, which happens to be today. What we did as far as emergency management, the township is concerned, we added a few more links to our website to provide hurricane preparedness information. If you go to www.uppertownship.com, on the latest news segment, which is right on the front page, you will see those hurricane preparedness information, hurricane safety tips and resources. And then if you go to the tab at the top, it says emergency management. It'll actually, there's a couple of tabs in there that provide information, current information on the status of the one storm that everybody's concerned about, and that's obviously Hurricane Florence. But it also goes in to show you a bunch of other information about all the other tropical events. So my point to this is that we should all prepare now. And by no means am I saying we're going to get the effects of the Carolinas that they're going to receive down there with Florence, but we should be prepared, especially this time of year, to kind of stop, think about the what ifs. If something like that, maybe not as severe, could hit this area, how am I going to prepare myself and my family for such an event? And what impacts, just like they're having down there, could easily occur up here. Maybe not with the same severity, but it's something to certainly think about.
Well, I know that you and Roy and Captain Hanley have been working on making sure that the equipment that we used during the summertime has been removed from the beach, as well as porta potties and even trash cans and things of that nature. And we've seen some flooding, at least recently, as early as today, from the new moon. And so I guess my question is looking at some of the reports, although I realize that it seems to have its value on Cape Hatteras or somewhere in the North Carolina area, that we still could experience some minor to moderate tidal flooding, even being that far away. The storm is growing in size. They said it's now 400 miles across. It's double the size of what it was yesterday. So, and although they seem to have the track pretty well situated, you're just not sure what's going to happen once it hits the coast. So,
Always good to keep.
I mean, it potentially could bounce somehow and head north. So we need to keep our guard on.
There's two more storms behind that road.
Yeah. Fortunately, the one's going into the Caribbean, or the other one seems to be potentially looks like it's going into the Gulf of Mexico. But in any event, this could be a very major storm that could or may or may not have impact on us. But we certainly wish the people in North and South Carolina and even Virginia, safety and hope that we're ready. And I know that I feel confident that we're ready and prepared based on a lot of the emails. And Roy, thanks for you and your group for moving forward and removing some structures. I know we still have to take care of that one shelter. Right.
There's a few things for tomorrow because we did run into some problems this morning with the higher tide that was experienced. The tidal situation should improve over the next 24 to 48 hours and lessen. Obviously, nothing related to Florence. It was all remnants of Gordon. There's based on a meeting that we had this morning, conference call with the Cape County Emergency Management. They provide us with information from the New Jersey State Police, who, as you know, runs emergency management, and Mount Holly, National Weather Service. They predict, based on the present track, as you said, things could change. The tropical storm force winds, there's a 20% chance that we could see something like that sometime on Friday into Saturday, and possibly some minor flooding. But again, all things to prepare for in advance, and we hope for the best and hope that none of that comes to see us, but we should all be prepared.
Okay. Thank you. Barbara.
I just have one thing. I just wanted to mention that we're preparing for a health and wellness fair going to be on October 18th at the Upper Township Community Center from 4 to 6 p.m. We'll have free flu shots, free health screenings, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, things of that nature. And we'd like to ask everyone to come out and visit us.
Thank you. Daniel?
Nothing at this time, but we do have closed session items.
Okay. Paul?
Thank you. Just wanted to let you know, I'm sure everybody's seen that the contractor did complete the re-roofing of Township Hall. I think they finished it up probably Monday, Tuesday last week, and able to get it all buttoned up before this nice 2 weeks of rain that we're going to have here. So it was good that they had good weather and they got everything buttoned up on that project. Next, I wanted to let the committee know the DOT's consultant regarding the local planning grant we received for the bike plan for the township. They're going to be holding an open public house for the public to review the plan. I did send a draft of the plan out to the committee last week. That's going to be on Monday, October 1st, 6 to 8 p.m. here at Township Hall. There's no specific presentation for the project. It's just going to be an open house for people to come in and ask questions about the overall bike plan that they've developed for the township. And then the final thing I had was the consultant for the school. They've had some problems with the disposal field at the elementary and primary school, and they need to make an application to the DEP for treatment works approval. And they need the township's consent to sign that. It's the typical consent that we normally sign for the septics over in Strathmere. And essentially, we're just certifying that they're in compliance with all municipal ordinances. Obviously, this is a replacement of an existing bed, and the school is obviously a permitted use and facility there. I'd ask that we could, if the committee could authorize the mayor to sign that now so that they could process and try to expedite the permitting process to get that underway, and then we can follow up with a resolution at the next meeting.
So you need a motion to move forward?
Yes.
I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
We'll follow it up with a resolution next meeting, but this allows you to sign it in the interim so they're not held.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corsi?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Unanimous, one vote.
Yes.
That's all I had this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Barbara?
There's nothing this evening, sir.
Committeeman Coggins.
A couple of things I noticed, Paul. I don't know if you saw the email or the letter from Jim Rotella about a grant from the Frank H. Stewart Trust. And what this grant is for is to enable townships or municipalities in certain counties of the state to apply for either recreation or wildlife preservation type areas that are adjacent to flowing bodies of water. So I don't know if there's any property that may be prime for the township to try to acquire under a grant like this, but it seems to be something that might be worthwhile to look into.
I'll definitely take a look at those program parameters and report back to committee if I think that there's something.
Does it work for beach replenishment?
No, it's not for, Another thing too, it was brought to my attention by a resident in Esperanza. A number of years ago, there was a storm. There was a street light went down. It was the corner of West Quail and Dove. For a period of time, the base of that street light remained in place. It was covered with a traffic cone, and eventually, the electric company came and took the base away and covered it all up, and the street light was never replaced. So I don't know if that's something that is in our plan somewhere.
I'll have to reach out to Lansing Electric. It probably just got, they probably forgot about it, and obviously, we didn't, keep track of it. But I'll reach out to Lansing Electric and find out why they didn't replace that light, because I'm sure we're still getting charged for it.
It's kind of what I was thinking too. I know we pay a lot for streetlights.
Yes.
And that was all I had this evening.
Committeeman Young.
A few items. We met earlier this week, Scott, Roy, John Adams, Jeremy, and myself over at the Codwell Park Playground. I received a few complaints about the condition of it. Went over, did more of an investigation on what the issues were over there, and found that we had major rot in our benches, some of the swings, and it was in pretty poor shape overall. So we've come up with a game plan to propose. We're going to make what repairs we can now and come up with a plan for next year's budget to make improvements over there. And when I went over, and it's not Public Works' fault, it's just antiquated. And I was pretty disheartened when I went over there. And, what it comes down to, what I found out is, with one of our workers has been out for a couple of weeks, and he's the one that basically was trying to maintain our parking lot, or our playgrounds by himself. And it's not a one-man job. And Jeremy can't keep up with it. He can't keep up with it. And the fact that we're only going in there probably once a month and trying to do work on them is getting us so far behind. And again, with deteriorated conditions, it's something we have to look at going into next year. So we are coming up with something, we're removing all the fencing around it. The front fences are coming down, that will be replaced with a chain link black fence with a gate. And all the fencing going into the ball fields will be removed. That'll enable the ground crew to get in there and do the work without having to go around fencing and weed whacking, leaf collection, and all the other things. So we're trying to figure out ways to streamline it with the lack of manpower that we have to help these guys get back on top of what we need done. We had a meeting today. Paul and I went to the meeting with the Historical Society and Sasha Associates, and we were passing a packet back and forth on, it's just some preliminary sketches of what they think, the renditions of what they think it can be. We discussed about the handicap ramps, lifts, and quite a few different issues. I think we definitely made the right choice. It was a great experience dealing with Chris and Jackie from Sash. And I found them to be very open-minded and to the point and really knowledgeable. So I'm looking forward to that project getting kicked in gear and getting done. Also, do we have a status on the old school by Amanda's Field as far as the lease and us being able to use it?
We took a delivery of that several weeks ago. We had notified Public Works they have the keys for the building.
Can we utilize it? Because we have big events coming up, and we mowed it. I know we mowed it, but I'd like to be able to use that for the big tournament coming up for soccer, and also for the car show for parking. And
there's some cleanup and some different stuff that would probably have to be done in there before you would put people inside.
Not inside. I'm just worried about using the grounds.
I'm sure you can use the grounds, yes.
Thanks. We'll have to get down again and make sure on that. And also, we're going to the press box at Codwell. It needs some major repair and some renovation. I've asked Scott, since our opening game is this week, and again, it comes down to between the crosswalks and everything else that our two carpenters have been handling, we have not been able to get to some of the other items. And again, it's not their fault, it's just the amount of workload that they have with limited personnel. So this week, they will go over and put the supports on the building the way that Dory wanted it, and also some tie-down clips on it.
So that should be done before Saturday.
Yeah, so we'll be up and running and secure the building up better than what it is. So I want to say, thank to you and Roy for, I know it's short notice, but we also had the same situation with the hockey rink and questions about the surface needing work. I haven't had a chance to look at it. I know, Roy, you went out and looked at it, right? All right, they start practice tonight. They were supposed to, but again, we've been so busy with cutting and lining, we couldn't put anybody out there to even check on the conditions of the field. And it just comes down to lack of personnel, and that's all it is. So, again, we need to think about that going into next year. That's all I have, Rich.
Deputy Mayor Barr.
Just the public to be aware, again, reiterating on the possibility of the storm coming. By all means, I know we talk about this every year when there is a storm, that if you're not essential personnel, you don't have to be out on the road. By all means, stay home. Let the emergency services take care of everything. State police, our rescue squads, our fire departments, they'll handle everything and keep you safe out there. And by all means, any of your property, make sure that it's secure, so it helps out our Public Works Department in picking up any type of debris that they have blown around. And also, I'm sure, Roy, you're going to have some people out, or at least some of the wind damage we had over the past few days, right? So get your brush out to the curb and everything cleaned up. Other than that, that's it.
Chairman Corsi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple things here. Saturday, September 22nd, from 1 to 3 is our rabies clinic held at Shore Animal Control, Shore Veterinary Animal Hospital. So you need your dogs, cats, other animals, rabies shots, that's your opportunity. Also, we got a notice here, Eagle Scouts are going to be starting a project landscaping the rescue squad building, so you'll see some work being done there. And it's very rewarding when you have Eagle Scouts that want to return to the community and do projects like that, which we're very lucky with the amount of Eagle Scouts we have, and it's just a very nice project. That's all I have.
Okay, I have a couple things. In an effort to have an interactive process with a request about handicap mats on the beach, I'd asked Paul to give me, look into an estimate as to what it would cost to put some additional handicap mats, moving mats down. And we had discussed where we thought it would be appropriate to do this, and the one area that we discussed was trying to at least maximize where we have lifeguard stands, the streets where there's lifeguard stands, so that there's protection there. We had looked into what it would cost us to do 100-foot mats. Now, I'm not sure 100 feet is enough, because it's a pretty long distance, or at least up this year, it's been a pretty long distance down there.
Next week it might be enough.
Well, let's hope. But anyway, the estimate's somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 to do that. And it's something I think we should consider budgeting for next year. I think it really will be an asset to those trying to utilize the beach. And, it may mean tweaking it a little bit, adding feet to one street and maybe eliminating another street. But for now, what we've done was we thought it best to at least look at the streets where the stands were. So that's in the work, and it's something that you'll see we'll budget.
I believe the existing mats were picked up this weekend, weren't they? This week?
Roy's been working on, we got the one at Beasley's Point up, right?
Yes, and the other one's going to pick up tomorrow.
So that's that. So more to follow on that, but
I do want to add to that, just to make sure that everybody's aware that the township has taken its responsibilities seriously in terms of entering into an interactive process with anyone that asks for an accommodation. It should be made public that we do have beach chairs for handicap access to the beach, the wheelchairs, and they've not been perhaps utilized as much as they could be. People should understand that they can make those requests so to help them out. From what Barbara tells me, that we've always had it available whenever when anybody's asked, so there isn't a lack of availability of those chairs. But again, we're doing what we're required to do with that interactive process and trying to accommodate anyone that has any problems.
Well, on top of that, I will add that under severe conditions, the lifeguards will certainly assist as well to drive the individual down to the beach and make arrangements to ensure that the person can get back to a certain area. So that's something that Captain Hanley and the lifeguards have done for several years, if not probably the past 10 years.
I believe they utilize the Kubota, correct?
They do.
There you go.
They do.
They use.
So I also want to remind everybody that tomorrow is September 11th, a day not to forget. A long time ago, in 2001, I was a very new mayor, and I do remember making the ultimate call, and I'm sure, I know Curtis was on the committee then, and Jay Potter certainly was involved, and I do remember making the decision, the difficult decision, to say that we would send a bunch of our fire and rescue equipment up to a staging area at Giant Stadium to assist. At that time, it was for rescue of the buildings, the World Trade Center. However, they left, and it was we wished them good luck. And on the way up, they managed to get, I believe, to the staging area, but it was determined that there really wasn't going to be a rescue effort. That unfortunately it was not. Our assistance was not needed, but it was really probably the most difficult decision that I recall in the 19 years of being mayor, saying go ahead and go, because it was, we didn't know what to expect, and the people were always heroes in my mind for volunteering to go up to try and assist in any way they could. So tomorrow, Osprey Point has a yearly ceremony at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's for any Upper Township resident that would like to attend. It's at Osprey Point again. Their Patriot Day ceremonies at 10 o'clock. And then also the county is having a memorial service at 3:30 at the Cresthaven Complex. So just make sure everybody's aware of that as well. I think that's all I have. So we can move on to the resolutions.
Number 3 on the resolution, appointing Laura Reddy as acting deputy municipal court administrator for a term of 1 year.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried. Number 4, honoring Shane David Wigglesworth on attaining the designation of Eagle Scout.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried, and we'll schedule Shane for a future meeting for presenting the resolution. Item number 5, appointing Judge Marion R. Ragusa to serve as temporary municipal judge on an as-needed basis.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor
Yes.
Plumbo? 6, appointing Louis M. Velasco, certified tax assessor, to act as tax assessor for matters in which the regular township tax assessor may have a conflict of interest.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
7, adopting the emergency relocation plan for the primary and general elections.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried. Item number 8. In support of the New Jersey Department of Transportation project full bridge replacement number 0510-150, Route 50 over Cedar Swamp Creek within the township of Upper and County of Cape May.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried. Item number 9, authorizing a contract with Atlantic Investigations for alcohol-controlled substance training and testing program.
Move the resolution.
Second.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried. 10, authorizing a contract with CCG Premium Recovery Group LLC to perform a review of the Upper Township Fire District's workers' compensation accounts.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried. 11, authorizing a shared services agreement with the County of Cape May for use of the Upper Township Community Center as a point of distribution center.
Move the resolution.
Second.
And I'll just add that this is actually, the county had asked us, and this is really in a time of some sort of biohazard devastation or potentially a pandemic or something, that they can use the community center to immunize and to give out any medications that may be needed in the county stockpile. So I felt that it was of our best interest to make sure that we had an opportunity to service our residents from Upper Township. So this is the reason why this is before you.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 12, authorizing change order number 1F with a reduction of $2,134 and project acceptance for the re-roofing of the Upper Township Municipal Building.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Mr. Mayor, I will have to abstain due to a conflict between my employer and the contractor during the contract and having a business relationship.
Okay.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried with 4 in favor and 1 abstention. Item number 13, cancel and refund tax on exempt property for block 476, lot 702.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 14, under ordinances, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 10, 2018, and ordinance amending ordinance number 17, 2017, and there's a salary ordinance for the calendar year 2018.
Okay, before I open it for public comment, does anybody have any comments, Barbara, anybody? Okay, so I'll open it up to the public at this point. Is anybody here to address the ordinance with respect to the salary ordinance? And it's 10/2018. It appears that there's no public comment on this ordinance, so we'll close the public comment portion, entertain a motion for adoption.
So moved.
Each call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Carried. Item number 15, under new business, Paul Casaccio, President, Clayton Ford Tractor Sales, request to donate block 736, block 23 to the township department.
Paul, do you want to give us
Yeah.
any?
This is a property that's actually on, let's say, on the east side of the parkway, so it's out in the meadows. It's a property they've had, it's kind of opposite of Plaza 9 area, and kind of was contiguous with their mainland property, but when the parkway came through, it kind of divided it in half. They're just looking at, instead of just stopping paying taxes and it goes to tax sale and, probably being struck to the township, and we would have to go through the foreclosure process, that they're, just looking to donate the property to the township.
DEP was buying, I'm quite familiar with property east of Parkway. A couple of years ago, I had a couple hundred acres east of the Parkway. I sold it all to DEP for approximately $312 or $315 an acre. It wasn't a whole lot of money. But there is a market for it. Have they reached out to DEP?
I don't believe so. I think they just were
We
going
get-
on a track of,
We get these requests occasionally. We had a couple on Roosevelt Boulevard. I'm not sure why the DEP doesn't respond all the time, but they take them as gifts as well. We actually have an ordinance, a standing ordinance, to accept gifts of property
Yes.
that is not used, because the alternative is if they just stop paying taxes on it, we have to foreclose against it.
Yes.
And we have to pay the school taxes while we're foreclosing on it. So as long as the title is okay and the physical condition is okay, which we would have to certify those two things, there's really no reason in our ordinances not to accept it. They do get a tax deduction as well.
But we carry it on our books as property. Can we give it to the DEP ourselves?
typically, I don't know if they've ever purchased.
We've never attempted to do that. I'm not sure that they would take it from another municipality.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about liability? It's east of the
No,
Parkway.
there's no liability. Nobody even knows it's ever going to go out there. Speak up, I don't, I'm not opposed to taking it, but I just wanted to point out that the state of New Jersey, actually, DEP does
How big
purchase.
of a parcel is it?
I believe it's like 22 acres, 23 acres, in that range.
Well, we could make a motion to accept the land based on the request, and then, certainly have you follow up, Mr. Casaccio, and, see if he's pursued that. And if the change took place, we can take it back before the committee, but otherwise, based on what our attorney has informed us, certainly, behooves us to at least accept the property at this point.
Well, what you would do is you would authorize a resolution once there's been certification that the title is clear and the condition is accepted.
I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Prisco?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Okay, item number 16, under discussion, Stockton University Coastal Research Center, second quarter survey.
Yeah, really.
Next one will tell.
Paul, you want to give us a brief summary of what you've taken out of this? I share some concerns potentially with the north end, how that channel seems to be forming. But,
Yes, this survey was done by Stockton. This was actually a survey results they did it back in March of 2018. They did show that was starting with an erosional pattern even back in March. And obviously we've continued to see that erosional pattern become a little more exacerbated over the last 2-3 weeks at the north end. So the rest of the beach was probably holding fairly good through March and then even into this latter quarter, but I'll say from the parts Williams North, especially at Seaview, we had to, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, we closed Seaview Avenue, beach access, and Sea Cliff is, I haven't been out, I didn't get out there today, but this week I knew we want to get out there, and that's probably
significant drop. And you have contacted Dr. Farrell, right?
I did have a discussion with Dr. Farrell and Bureau of Coastal Engineering. We did have some discussions that within our beach maintenance permit, there is some ability to look at areas within our recreational beach area. Essentially, I think that's from Vincent to Hawthorne, and we can scrape some sand, the dry sand area in that area, and move it up to put in front of the dunes. Not to do any real grading, but just to end dump it in front of the dunes to create some additional dune area. So that is something I did have discussions with Scott and Roy last week regarding those options, and we were kind of waiting to see how the weekend was going to look and where Florence was going to forecast to make a proposal to committee and on how we might want to do some interim measures. I do have another phone call set up with Coastal Engineering later this week to go over with them where in line do we sit with the Army Corps project and how they may, as we continue, if this same scenario happened last year, but it happened earlier in the season and allowed that channel to fill in and bring some sand back up onto our beach. Obviously, at this point of the season, it's going to be unlikely that channel is going to close back off, reopen up to the east, and then migrate that sand back on the beach as we continue through the fall season. So we're going to be going into the winter in a precarious situation at the north end. Up until last week, the dune, at the base of the dune, was just at the level of where the dune was originally. So we kind of had lost all of the dry beach right up to the face of the dune. That's how much sand, that we lost from the initial beach fill that the Army Corps did fill to that. So it's a significant loss on the north end. But as you extend south on the beach, that's still doing pretty well. As of the survey last week, obviously.
The water was up extremely high yesterday and even today, rolling up to the dunes,
Yes.
on the, Vincent area, Vincent Avenue area, and those kind of things. But it's certainly holding its own. But we really need to keep on top of it because I remember what happened the last time in October storm came, and we wound up having to put those rocks in. So.
The rocks are still there.
Yeah, they're still there, and they wanted us to remove them. They said they wanted to remove them, you remove them. And obviously, they agreed to leave them there. But I'm really concerned. I mean, we've had significant erosion over really the past month. We've had a significant, because of the new moon, flooding and really a tidal surge. And potentially we'd have another tidal surge, coming with whatever Florence has to offer, even though we're not in the eye of the direct storm. But we really need to keep an eye on that and figure out what emergency, things we need to do if we have to do it.
We'll keep the committee up to date, and we'll try to get out there every other couple of days just to keep an eye on it, to make sure we can plan ahead.
We had noticed this morning with some of the exposed areas of dew fence too, that we're going to be tomorrow as well. There's a couple areas around Seacliff and Seaview that are totally exposed to dew fencing.
Do we have the availability to have use a drone as emergency management? The county have a drone or anything?
Well, we have some very good pictures that Mr. Kingston took.
I know, but
From
Mr.
aerial.
Kingston can't fly every day in the storm.
I get that, but we do comparative
I'd rather-
on the pictures, and we realize that we're seeing some significant issues, so.
I'd rather see a drone crash though than Mr. Kingston.
Well, I'm not suggesting Mr. Kingston go out and be a hurricane hunter, but, that the photos that he's taken, certainly points out the issues that are upon us, so.
I mean, ironically, when you look at the beach that's directly out, I'll say, into the inlet, like if you walked over Commonwealth Avenue and walked straight out there, that beach is as big as it's
Well, the state
ever
park
been.
is.
The state park is
still
huge.
fine.
Yeah.
It's just wrapping
At
right
north
around
tip.
it, right on the tip, and, cutting
Has
into
Dr.
it.
Farrell ever given any kind of indication that there's something that can be done to remedy the action of this channel?
It's an uncontrolled channel, and he says, the north end of every inlet on the Jersey coast takes,
I mean,
that
North Butler has a really crucial problem.
you go to Townsend's Inlet, on the Avalon side of Townsend's Inlet, it takes the beating, and you look at the Townsend's Inlet Bridge, that's, the reason why that's closed so often is because of the beating that it's taking at the terminus there in Avalon. So each of the north ends of these barrier islands just take a beating.
All right, so let's make that a continued priority, keep an eye on what's happening there, and, please keep us up to date. And anything we need to do on our end, it's important that we have an understanding of what needs to be done, so. All right. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Cobb?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes. There are a number of report from the municipal departments. Construction code, clerk's office, division of EMS, tax office, municipal court, finance office, Department of Public Works. All of these reports will be available upon request of the clerk's office tomorrow morning. But I'll make a motion to accept these reports. Second.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Cobb?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
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 Carried.
So at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Anyone that would like to address the Township Committee, now's the time to do so. Please state your name and your address and your reason for addressing the Township Committee.
My name is Elaine Holzenbeck, 29 Sumner Road, Strathmere, New Jersey. And I came this evening with my husband to ask the township because I received a phone call from the Civil Rights Department of the ADA, and they asked me to address the committee to see what the progress was for the beach path mats. And of course, you've at least partially answered that they are being considered for next year. I have a few questions because I do have to call them back. They wanted a report. So I know because we live in that area, approximately how many lifeguards there are in the Strathmere portion. And I was wondering how many lifeguards there are in the Whale Beach portion, because, Mayor, you said that the mats would go on the lifeguard beaches.
Well, when Paul and I first discussed this, probably, about a month ago, we did two things. One, we wanted to see what kind of cost we were to anticipate, and second of all, although I know your request was to do it at every block, we're just not sure that we're prepared to do that at this point. So it was really randomly the discussion that we had, and I said, well, why don't we just consider putting it where the lifeguard stands are at this point, so that we know that wherever there's protection on the beach will be handicap access. And Paul was able to get a figure. Again, it was for 100 feet, and I discussed that might be too short, and we were trying to determine if we were to maybe eliminate one block and add it, at different streets. So that is still really flexible at this point. We can discuss it if it means, potentially putting one at Whale Beach. I just, thought that it makes sense certainly to have, a guarded beach where, we could have people enjoy the beach. But
Are there no lifeguards in the whole Whale Beach area?
there are, well, they've moved one stand closer to there, and there's a proposal to do that, and that's something that we had discussed earlier in the year, because there's a plan over the next couple of years to have CIL and our group kind of work the way both ways down Whale Beach. How far that goes, I don't want to make any promises on that either, but I will say that we are very flexible in trying to determine where best to put these mats, and we certainly will entertain input. Our goal was to try and come up with some solution based on the request, your previous request. And so we have an idea of what the funding will cost us, at least for, I guess it's like 6th Street or whatever we determined, whereas there's because there's one on Williams Road already. But that was just, a thought process where we can certainly be open to where we're going to put these mats at. So.
Mayor, I just would want to note that in order to extend additional lifeguard stands south through Whale Beach from Hawthorne, where the emergency access is, that would require us to go back to work with the DEP, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, to modify our beach management plan. So it is going to be a process. I've discussed that with Captain Hanley, and about the timing of when we would have to start making those applications and having those discussions with the DEP.
Well, we're certainly available by patrol at this point. And we work in mutual aid with Sea Isle Beach Patrol in covering that area. But I guess based on what Paul's saying, we also have to see if it's okay to put a mat there on the beach, right?
Correct.
But I'm not opposed to having that being considered, and I'm sure the committee is not either. And so let's just, we'll get through the process and keep everybody up to date. Paul will look into whether or not we can actually put a mat there based on what we've agreed to from an Army Corps, opportunity with the beach replenishment that we've agreed to, ongoing beach replenishment. But nothing's set in stone. I will say that we're going to move forward with getting these, but I hope to be able to do that. And obviously, I have to work with my colleagues on this, but that's something that I'm going to propose that we do. So
It's a budgetary item that we won't be able to do anything until the next budget cycle.
But for next summer is what we're focused
Right.
on.
Right. Thank you for that. We did use one of the balloon tire chairs when our son and his family came down for a visit. And may I say one thing? I don't know if there's a variety of models available, but the one that we had has a fixed axle, which means it won't turn.
It goes one way.
Right. So if you're going straight, it's fine. but if you want to turn around and go back the way you came, or anywhere, you have to, thank God our son is strong, because he had to literally lift it and turn. So if there are any models that have a rotating axle of any kind, it probably would be a lot easier on everyone.
Well, we do actually have one like that. We have 4 of them, and one of them has the turning wheels. But the front wheels are smaller. Like the one that is immobile, as you said, all those 4, all 4 of those tires are the same size and the same height. The one wheelchair that we have does have spinning wheels. The front wheels are smaller than the back. I, quite frankly, tried to use that with my wife, and I found that actually harder than the bigger wheels. Even though you could potentially turn it a little bit, the bigger wheels seem to work better on the open beach. So, but having said the fact that, we will be looking at these and I honestly use it on Vincent where there isn't mats. So, that's something that could be considered and move forward with it. I do know we have, like I said, there's 4 of them, and the one is distinctly different than the other 3. And that does have moving front wheels.
There's actually 6 of them. We have one at Caldwell Park and one in the Maynard's Field that could be made
Ones that are
available.
available on the beach.
They're all available for the beach if needed.
Yeah, but in any given day, there's 4 at the stand, at the shack.
At the shack, okay. One kind of more recent thing, since the township put the sandbags up to stop the gravel from coming on the street, that's kind of impeded access to any wheeled vehicles. And sitting on the porch one day, I actually saw someone who was struggling with a beach cart trip and almost fall over the sandbags in trying to access.
Which street is that?
Sumner Road.
I wasn't aware that we did. I know that a homeowner put them there. Okay, so that wasn't the township, because I wasn't aware that we did. I do know that I had asked Roy at one time during the summer to, like, what do you call it?
Great.
Grade it, because it had, had some ditches from rain and everything else, erosion. But, so you're saying that we didn't put any sandbags there? Okay.
Can you take a look at them, have them removed?
Yeah, so just so you know, those sandbags there were not placed by the township. They were placed by potentially a resident
Your neighbors.
on something.
Okay. I'm just
Hopefully people
saying,
trip.
I've seen people trip over them.
Yeah, and that would make sense, but because you kind of caught me by surprise when you said that, so at least, we've established that it wasn't us that did it, but we'll certainly remove them for it.
Well, I just assumed, and I know you should never assume, because of all the grading and everything, that they were put there to stop the gravel from, coming onto the street again. So,
See, I think what eventually will happen is the white sand will begin to fill over that gravel, and the gravel will stay in place. Right now, the gravel is exposed because we tried to eliminate the stairs, thinking that it would be safer and certainly easier for potential people that had, some handicap opportunities or, to be able to utilize them better than trying to go up and down steps.
and may I say, it does. So we do appreciate that it does make things a little easier than having the stairs. And the gravel, of course, is firmer than soft sand, so that's a help as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Anyone else? Yes, we've heard from everyone that wants to address the Township Committee. Thank you for your comments. I'll turn to Mr. Coggins and ask him to read a statement to go into executive session.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters are personnel, litigation for affordable housing, contract negotiation for health benefits, and appraisal services. I also include in my motion the estimated time and the circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality. With respect to litigation matters, such discussions will be made public when litigation is complete and the applicable appeal period has expired.
Second, would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Cobb?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Mello?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Wish you all a safe journey home. Let's hope that Hurricane Florence stays as far away as possible. I don't want to wish it on anybody, but let's hope that the storm somehow, by miracle, dissipates before it gets to the coast.